Hello, it's Saturday, and rather than a weekly vlog, this is going to be a weekend vlog of such. Can't promise that I'm going to be doing much, to be honest, because I am currently in hibernation mode, because it is to get up to 29 degrees today. And I know if you live in London or whatever, this will be the norm for you, but here in Scotland, and for me especially, it's not my thing. It's not my thing. It would be a whole different ball game if I had access to a swimming pool or the sea and I had aircon. But I've only got my ice bath and a rickety fan. I'm gonna put you in the cupboard to get me up to high. No, you do. Although it is 26 degrees, I am making a cup of tea. Thought it was out of tea bag here, but it was a disaster. So let's kind of, also would help if I had a mug. So let me make this cup of tea and we will catch up, because we need to. I'm going to open my blinds slightly so you can see me. I think the sun's starting to move round anyway. Yeah, so there nearly wasn't any sort of vlog at all this week. It has been a very challenging week for me. I know that I've always been very open and honest about my mental health and how I'm feeling, and goodness knows I'm certainly not shy about coming on here and having a cry and my battery's running out. I had like 3 bars a minute ago. Bear with. I'm back with a battery. What was I saying? Yeah, I know I've always been really open about how I feel and whatever, but it was like a combination of, I felt like all I had been doing, or all I have been doing, is like complaining or being really depressing, and I didn't want to put that on all of you. But also, secondly, I just wasn't in the headspace to even think about picking up my camera. There was a couple of days I just was in a really horrible place. And I'm not saying like that today I'm miraculously better, but I'm just going to try and take it a day at a time. And I'm very aware of like the old feelings of panic around resting and not doing anything. Already I can kind of feel myself being that kind of anxious, say like, oh, I should do this, this and this. And I was speaking to Amy Simpson yesterday, who I'd done like one of the courses with, and I can't remember how we'd got on to speaking or whatever, but like I just constantly feel like I'm in this like the whole like fight or flight situation, and I know that my nervous system is incredibly dysregulated. So, and as a sort of offshoot from that, you can't, because as I've mentioned to you quite a few times, like one of my biggest kind of stressors or worries or whatever is money. And because of that algorithm, I happened to watch like one video, I think it was on TikTok or something, and now that's all I'm getting, but I'm happy with that. It's all videos I'm getting to do with like how you have to regulate your nervous system in order to then be open to like receiving or whatever else, because the universe isn't going to give you things that you can't handle. And if you can't handle like, or if I can't handle like a thimble's worth of money right now because my nervous system is basically saying, like, if I get any more than that, like, it's too much for me, like, I can't handle it, it's overwhelming, I just lose it, blah blah blah, then why would the universe be like, right, okay, I'll give you more if you're just going to be stressing about it all the time? So Amy and I were talking about that, and she was saying how, like, she thinks that I am in a place of, like, resistance, because all I want to do, if I'm honest, is like sleep, but then if I try and have naps, I can't nap because I feel too wired at the same time, even though I'm really low on energy. And I'm just constantly, like, worried, anxious, stressing about stuff, very easily triggered, like very easily irritated, catastrophising about a lot of stuff. Like, for example, so it has been really, like, warm and muggy here, and yesterday morning I came through to the kitchen and Jack was sitting up on the kitchen counter, and usually anytime, like, I go anywhere near the kitchen, he's like wandering about, like, wanting to feed, whatever, and he was just lying there, and Harry had jumped up next to him and was like licking him and stuff, and that for some reason sent me off on this. I literally had a panic attack. Like, I had to, like, I could feel, like, my heart was going, like, I couldn't catch my breath properly, because I then went down this spiral of thinking that he was, like, ill again. So if you were here last year, Jack ended up with, it was actually about a year ago, like this month, it was around about July time, Jack had an issue with his liver, and it was like fatty deposits or something on his liver. I can't remember the actual, like, term, but he was really, really ill, and I first noticed he wasn't well because I came through to the living room and he was just lying on the sofa, and initially I didn't think of anything, and then I realised that he'd actually been lying in the same spot for 24 hours. He'd stopped eating, drinking. It was horrific. Like, we ended up, my dad and I had to take him up to an animal hospital up in Glasgow. It was a horrible time. So, of course, my body's obviously remembering that trauma, and then I'm just jumping about 100 steps ahead, thinking that the same thing was happening again. I don't know why I'm laughing, because it wasn't funny. But yesterday I'd messaged Mum, and she said that he had seemed fine, he was wanting attention, and he'd eaten, like, treats and stuff, and he's been fine since. I don't know where the pair of them are, I think they're off hiding in the shade somewhere. But yeah, like, it's been a wild week. But I'll go back to what I was saying. So I was talking to Amy, and yeah, she was saying that she thinks that it sounds like I'm very much in resistance, and like, I have been panicking about, like, White Rabbit and, like, the orders or lack thereof of stuff, and you know, I just feel like I have to go into fix-it mode with everything, like, whether it's, like, White Rabbit, my work, like, everything. I just automatically go in right into, like, right, I need to sort this. And then she said to me, what if you, rather than being in fix-it mode, what if you could go into, what was it she said? So she said, if I could offer you something, fix mode suggests a problem. This puts us in problem thinking, so we make it hard to create. Trust me, I know. What if you were in build mode, quantum mode, magic mode, miracle mode? So I was then inspired to take a screenshot of that and put it into, you guessed it, ChatGPT. Is it GPT or cheap? Anyway, Chat Daddy. And I said to it, like, this is the conversation I've had with my friend, like, she suggested, like, being in, like, the magic mode, whatever, and it come back and it was like, thank you for sharing this rich and vulnerable conversation. It's clear you're incredibly self-aware and doing deep inner work, but you're also in a state of emotional exhaustion, nervous system overload and fixed mode looping. Let's look at how to actually shift from that heavy place of resistance into what Amy called build mode, quantum jump mode, magic mode, miracle mode. And then it's like, understand what resistance looks like for you, to move in step by step, moving into build mode, regulate your nervous system, shift from fixed mode to vision mode, use a visual anchor for quantum jump mode, rewrite the money story with power, blah blah blah. And then, again, another kind of inspired thought I got was that I said, you know what would be really helpful to me if you could write out an example day in the life for this in the context of my working day being focused on White Rabbit skincare, how I would feel when I woke up, what I would do, etc. Because I realised that I'm very like, I need examples of things in order to understand. So although I really appreciate Amy saying to me, rather than being in fix it mode and resistance whatever, what if you could be in magic mode, whatever, I love the idea of that. But what is that? Like, how do I do that? What, you know what I mean? So, it then come back saying, absolutely, here's a day in the life of you living in build mode, magic mode, blah blah blah. It's designed to help you feel the difference between pushing from panic versus flowing from power. So morning, it's wake up in power, not panic. You wake up not with dread, but with a quiet sense of possibility. Your first thought isn't what's wrong, but what gets you to feel good today. And then it's like, tells me like to do like breathing, blah blah blah. And it says, instead of grabbing your phone and checking Shopify and panic, which is what I do, you go and make a cup of tea or warm lemon water and play a playlist that makes you feel like the most radiant, magical CEO in the universe. Late morning, so about 9 o'clock, it's a line before action. So about, it says, open your notebook or journal and ask future you a question like, what gets to be easy today? You pull a card, light a candle or spray your mist. That kind of freaked me out a little bit because I do have like it's like an abundance mist. I've got two that I got from the shop in Troon. As far as I know, I've never told chat that I use that. How does it know that? Blah blah blah. Midday, working in magic mode. If resistance shows up, you don't spiral, you pause, breathe, you say, of course this feels scary, I'm expanding, which is what I need to remind myself, is that a lot of the time when I do feel like scared or anxious, it's because I am going through that sense of expansion into the unknown. Afternoon, rest without guilt, 2:30 p.m. Instead of pushing through the slump, you ask what would fill me up right now. Maybe it's a nap, a walk with a podcast, lying on the floor and visualising your next quantum leap version. Evening, wrap with gratitude and vision. And basically the feeling throughout the day is less panic, more presence, less proving, more allowing, less control, more trust, less fixing, more creating. So that was like, I even said that was so helpful to me because it is, I can now like see how I should, not should, I hate the word should, but you know what I mean, like it's a lot more helpful to me than just being like, be in magic mode. What is that? So this morning I had a bit of a, well, it was a bit of a broken lie-in. Like the cats got me up about 7:30 and I went back to bed and I put on a couple of meditations. I think I fell back asleep at some point during that. I got up, was it just after 9, kind of pottered about, went out and did my ice bath. I'd bought ice yesterday to make an actual ice bath instead of a lukewarm bath. And then I sat in the sun and finished my Spacegoods hot chocolate and kind of dried off a bit. And it actually, I don't know if you can see, I wasn't out that long, but I started going pink and I'm like, that's scary how strong that sun is. And I was very hungry by that point, so I had my breakfast and I've just kind of been, so I've made my cup of tea. I was watching, what's her name? She's got the store Catnip. It was like one of her like Florida Disney World vlogs, which I might continue watching. But I think I'm going to do... So I've got my chapter from The Daily Stoic and The Wealth Money Can't Buy. I need to read them, or I want to read them rather. And I've also been reading... Where did I put it? It's in the kitchen. Can't remember where to go and get it. I have been reading The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, and it's actually been really, really interesting because it's talking about like what's called your upper limit. And it's really interesting to see, like, he was also talking about how, so there can be various ways that we block ourselves to an upper limit. It can vary from things like worrying to like arguing with people, all the way up to like illness and things, because he says that when you start to notice, a lot of the time when you feel yourself coming down with like a cold, for example, it's actually a form of almost like self-sabotage. So what was it he said about, there's like the 3 P's, it's like punishment, prevention, protection, and like illness kind of falls under the protection and prevention thing. So if you come... I'm butchering this, I'm really, really sorry. I would recommend, it's really interesting, I would recommend you read it, but basically it's the idea of like, if there's something that you don't want to do, it's more of a like mental block. Your body then tries to find ways of protecting you, and a lot of the time it comes down to like making you ill. So he'd give an example of a guy who was meant to be doing this massive big presentation and then come down with laryngitis or like a throat issue, like literally just before it. So he couldn't do the presentation, and then when Gay Hendricks had spoke to him, in the course of him speaking to the guy, all of a sudden, and like working through these issues, all of a sudden his throat just like cleared up and he was speaking normally again. But he decided to literally keep his mouth shut, and he just went home and had a nice day with his wife instead. But yeah, sorry. Wait, if this is the first time you're watching my vlogs, I have ADHD. I like to go off in tangents quite a lot. I do go off in tangents quite a lot. This is an example. But when I was reading that book out in the garden, he said that you were to try and identify what your upper limits are. Of course I asked Chat GPT, that is P. I keep calling it Chat GPT. Where did I ask? No, wait a minute, hold on. I've now got different folders because I asked so many questions. You're right at the heart of one of the most transformative insights in the book, identifying your upper limit problem, the unconscious way we self-sabotage when life starts to go too well. Given everything I know about you, I can offer some targeted suggestions that might help you identify where your ULP shows up. These are based on patterns I've noticed from our conversations. So to give you an idea, number 1, worry is a safety mechanism. Underlying belief, if I let my guard down, something bad will happen. Number 2, guilt around feeling good. Underlying belief, it's wrong to feel good when others are suffering, or who am I to have it this good? Tying worth to productivity. You feel uneasy when not doing something, and often abandon rest because I should be doing something useful. Underlying belief, I'm only valuable when I'm achieving. This ULP limits your ability to receive abundance, love or success in a relaxed, unforced way because your nervous system is wired for doing, not being. Fear of outshining or leaving others behind. Fear of losing it all. So I was going to write them out and keep them in my planner as a reminder. Because he also says that not that you should like laugh at them, but kind of look at them in a less serious way, and it sort of dissolves them. I suppose it's a bit like, you know, in Harry Potter, when Professor Lupin is teaching them about the Boggart, and you have to laugh at it, and then that's what kind of, you can destroy it that way. Your upper limit problem is like a Boggart. But I was also going to, my beautiful customer Michelle, she had sent me some beautiful before and after pictures. I'll not show you her before because it's got her son in it, I need to crop him out, but this is her after. Look how glowing her skin is. So I'm going to do a post on that. I've rambled enough long. I've been talking for 20 minutes. Right, I'm going now. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Bye. I said myself. Even though I'm feeling this resistance. Upon your path. A poverty hex wrapped in everyday language. But I am here to break that spell. Because the law of prosperity, the law of supply, and the law of assumption, they were day and night. It begins in how you carry your soul before the mill. Pioneer speaks differently. Not because of arrogance, but because of alignment with truth. Update. It's 4:45. I'm actually contemplating a nap, although it's definitely danger nap territory time. I am watching back-to-back Midsummer Murders on ITV3, even though I've seen all of them and they're ancient. I've got my Keeley on, running a chakra programme, and I am reading House of Earth and Blood. And after initially being like, I don't get this book, I'm actually really enjoying it. It's like urban, you'll probably all know what it is because it's Sarah J Maas, but it's like urban fantasy, and it's kind of like a whodunit style thing. So the only thing is I've managed to crack the spine and some of the pages are starting to come out of it. But I also, oh my goodness, I also did my good morning. It's not morning. It's 12:30. Oh, angel number 1234. What does that mean? Let's check. Indicates progress and growth. So I, after initially not being able to get to sleep last night because it was so hot and horrible, ended up, and then I was worried about Harry, but he, I don't know if you can you see him? I don't know. He came strolling in at 1 o'clock in the morning, so he's obviously been hiding out the heat somewhere. Anyway, finally managed to get to sleep. Was up and down a few times during the night for the toilet, and also my mouth is full of ulcers. And when I checked my Aura ring this morning, because I always check it for, oh, what's new in Aura? Start logging meals. That's interesting. It was telling me that my body is under major strain from something. What was it said? Major signs in the symptom radar. Even with an optimal readiness score, your biometrics show major signs of something straining your body. Prioritise rest today to help maintain your readiness. So, we're going to have to do that. I do look a bit peaky and I feel kind of hot and clammy. So I'm going to have, I was going to say breakfast, it's now obviously lunch, but I'm going to have what I usually have for my breakfast, for my lunch. So, just to do a little random what I'm having, I like having 2 slices of this, so it's like the sourdough bread, but it's the protein one. I don't usually fall for marketing such as this, but It's 10 grams of protein per slice, and the ingredients are still relatively, there's not too much added rubbish. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, I'm going to have 2 slices of that. I'm going to have an avocado on that. Then I've already made my, so 3 of these are for tomorrow, but my Linda McCartney sauce, and then some mushrooms, and beans. Where are my beans? Some beans. So I'm going to make that. What do you want? You're so handsome. I'm too hot, aren't you? Little health supplements haul. Well, that's not health, that's little white bulbs for the new lamp I got from Holly. But we have got some clear protein, which I like. It's 20 grams of protein and I like it. Just can taste like Doleton juice. So I like to just have that first thing in the morning in my shaker. Multivitamins and minerals. Good to have a kind of broad spectrum supplement like this. NMH, which I've been doing some research into this, and it helps with energy support, as it says here, but it also helps with like your brain. And transresveratrol has actually been proven to help stave off things like Alzheimer's. And I used to take this a while ago, but I got out of the way of taking it, but I've decided to start taking it again. And then some, it's basically, these are amino acids. Previously I've taken these as a powder, but I just got the supplement version this time. Hi, it's Monday, and guess who forgot to close off the weird weekend vlog? And that's my alarm to leave. So if that's not a sign that I need to get going, then I don't know what is. Thank you for watching. To be honest, I'm debating whether I'm actually going to upload this or not. If I have, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.